So, chicken fried rice. Considering Doctor Who's been around for nearly 50 years, and Batman's been around for way longer, which character is more well-rounded? And for that matter, which one will win in a fight? The Man-Bat or Professor Whom? Tactability, if that even is a word, it probably isn't, is something to consider, because Doctor Who is a show all about change, regeneration, rejuvenation. The reason it's lasted so long, bar the years it was cancelled, is because the character and the situations keep changing. The main cast is constantly in flux. We get to explore new places, new worlds, and technology evolves along with the show. You've had 13 debatably different actors portray the role of the Doctor in canon, and that's great. I'm referring to Peter Cushing, by the way, as the other one. Don't get your knickers in a twist. But Batman has stayed the same. And doesn't that mean that he's a stronger character? And think about it, he's never changed. Ever. Apart from when he died, and someone else has stood in for him. Maybe that's the key to it. If you want to keep a fan base, die every now and again. Don't try that at home, though. So, at what point in your life were you made aware of the Doctor Who character?
When I was 8, which was approximately 1981, I was made aware of Doctor Who. The best Doctor Who being this little cheeky scamp, Sylvester McCoy, who sadly was taken from us in the mid-80s after a terrible ruckus with a swarm of stoat. They say every hero is only as good as the enemies he's facing. Now Batman has a gigantic rogues gallery. The dude fights the Joker, the Riddler, Penguin, Catwoman, the Al Ghouls, Scarecrow, Two-Face, the Ventriloquist, Bane. There's loads of them. Batman, of course, all of his villains are stuck in one place. The Doctor has to fight evil across the galaxy in the forms of the most ruthless villains of all time, the Zarbi. Those guys frighten the living hell out of me. Oh, it's happened again. I'm going to say a series of words to you relating to both franchises, and I want you to respond with the first thing that comes into your head. You ready? Yes.
Right. Robin.
Reliant.
Adric.
Puppy.
Catwoman.
Catman.
Roger Delgado.
Peterson Lee.
Batmobile.
Start button.
Sonic Screwdriver.
Oh, get a plumber in or something.
Nana 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 nana.
Mark and Mindy.
Peter Davison.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Christian Bale.
Has he? They get live.
Pertwee.
The Crow Man.
Axon.
Axe Off.
Joker.
Pasquale.
That being said, what makes them more of a hero? Batman, due to a tragic life choice, decides to go out and fight crime and injustice and bring down these evildoers, because after all, criminals are a cowardly and superstitious lot. The Doctor doesn't actively seek to save people. Now, if he comes up across a situation whereby he can help, he'll definitely do it. But he didn't set out with a mission of righting wrongs, despite what he says in the War Games. It was never his original intention. So, does that make Batman more of a hero? Ergo, a better character? Well, not necessarily. The Batman's entire existence is based on his need to help people and fight crime. So he's gone into this life equipping himself, training himself, making himself better and stronger than most of his enemies. Now the Doctor improvises. That takes courage, ingenuity, traits that are very relevant in all the best heroes. If it makes you feel any better, Karen Gillan's there. She's stare at that for a bit. Here's an interesting one. Cinematic success. The Doctor's been in cinemas before, and he will be again for the 50th anniversary. But Peter Cushing's Doctor's separate from the main canon. It's literally a grandad who invents a time machine in his back garden and is called Doctor Who. Despite the films not being incredible, they're certainly fun. If I catch them on a bank holiday morning, I'm tuning in, cocker. You can believe it. Batman, however, has had a more, should we say, built-up cinematic run. The Cape Crusaders had at least more than 2 iterations in the cinema. However, which would you rather watch with your family? Heroes are people to be
worshipped, celebrated, people to enjoy the exploits of. But I wouldn't sit down with my granny and watch The Dark Knight Rises.
Which of the two characters do you feel had a more successful cinematic run?
Batman was played by Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton was in Jack Frost, which was crap. Therefore, Peter Cushing all the way.
It's already sinking. A hero's also measured by how much tragedy they come up against and how they deal with it. Now, both characters have lost their fair share of friends and allies. Most notably, Batman lost the second Robin, Jason Todd, murdered by the Joker, beaten to death with a crowbar and then left for dead in an explosion. And the Doctor, as we all know, suffered his greatest loss of all in the War Machines when Dodo just wandered off and never came back. But in seriousness, the Doctor has had to put up with some hardships in his time. The loss of Rose, well, the debatable love of his life. The loss of Clara multiple times. And Lord knows losing a character that has little to no development can break your heart. Also, other companions along the way. Adric sacrifices himself. He nearly loses Perry, and to prevent losing another friend, puts his life on the line instead. Does that make him noble? Of course it does. Does it make him a brilliant hero? Yes, it does. However, does the Doctor have a Batmobile? No. Similarly, does Batman have a TARDIS? Of course he doesn't. Batman's stuck in the past. A tragedy that took his parents from him at an early age defined him as a person, and thus he has never changed or developed or moved on or looked for love or relationships or family ever since.
And this little beauty, this man, my favourite Doctor, yes, Renaud McGann. Don't cry, Tom. Tom, why are you dressed like Colin Baker?
My point being that we are incredibly gifted to live in a world where two fictional heroes, as strong, sturdy, reliable, and morally centred as these guys exist. Heroes don't necessarily have to be people who really live. Role models don't have to be people who actually exist. Role models can take any form. And luckily for us, the Doctor and Batman are perfect. Their moral compass teaches us how we should behave. Their understanding and belief in truth and justice and peace is enough to give us an example to set our own lives to. I know people who've gone into criminology and law enforcement because of Batman, because they read Batman books as a kid, because they grew up watching the Batman cartoon. But similarly, I've known people who've gone into science because of Doctor Who. I know people who wanted to travel because of Doctor Who. I know people who've started up YouTube channels because of Doctor Who. A hero can be anyone, just as long as they've got a bow tie or a mask. So get back to the original question, who's better, Batman or Doctor? I think the answer is simple. Both of them are. They're both better than all of us. And that's the point, we aspire to be them. And after all, why else would I be wearing a t-shirt with both characters? Oh, shit, it's just Doctor Who. Oh,
Billy, brace yourself. It's very atmospheric in there. Some people would say dramatic.
What do you mean? Let's just go in there and see what it is.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, the mad scientist and eyebrow girl are still on the loose. So if you see them or have any information, pass it off to them. They need to be eradicated.
Hey, I told you, hand yourselves in and no one will get hurt. Well, something along those lines. But you didn't listen, and now your friends are going to pay the consequences. For example, this is the Irish one. Now, he got captured because of his own stupidity.
Oi!
But you two are clever, and I don't like that. So, for the final time, Irish one. Where are the remaining two Five-Who fools?
No idea what you're talking about.
Begin the conversion. Now, if you don't hand yourselves in, then I will stomp on Billy Tracy.
What? Ah!
And the other one.
It's John. John!
And as for you, the viewing public, Tell me where the remaining 2 FiveWho fools are, or I will make your deaths immensely painful. Good day. Get ready for next week.